Don't take a picture of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No.
Well, you know.
Never don't post on anything.
Well, maybe. Yeah, people got to know that war is a very unpleasant business.
Startled him so much he flipped over.
They know.
I heard a bunch of big bangs this week.
You guys mind if I ifta?
You have any questions about anything?
Well, why don't you give me a little? Do you mind if I videotape this? I might post it on Facebook, but I won't be charging money for it, so I'll just give you that.
Facebook? I don't know. I got to write a disclaimer.
Do you really?
No. People come in and videotape all the time. You're good.
Okay. Well, you know, this poor dude, he charged into battle, and tell me what happened to him.
Well, you know, this is a 58 caliber mini ball.
Uh-huh.
It's soft lead, shot at very slow velocity. When it hit you, it smashed.
Okay.
This one was found near the McPherson's barn, which was a surgery. So I don't know, could have been cut out of somebody, or maybe hit a rock.
Yep.
I don't know. But anyways, you got shot. There's not much they could do. They didn't have any antibiotics. They didn't know what caused infection. So they knew if the bone was shattered, if it was hit, it would shatter. Sometimes it would shatter up, so you'd need to cut into good bone. So if this guy's shot in the ankle, say the bone's broken up to here, you got to get above there.
Is it when they shattered the bone, that was an automatic amputation? There was no thought of it,
there was
no
nothing
thought
you could
of
do.
healing?
Well, they did have resection. If they were like a general or something, you had time to do it. They could cut bone out,
Uh-huh.
and they could
Reattach it.
reattach it with a nail or something. You'd have a shorter leg or a shorter arm or something. But they could do that. Anyways, there was a couple of types of different amputations. This is a flap type of amputation. You would take scalpel and you would cut through this flesh. You would take the saw and this would cut through muscle,
Yeah.
and you'd leave a flap so you can pull the flesh back to expose the bone.
My daughter's thinking about being a nurse. She should be here to see this, to kind of see if this is really, you know.
And you would take the capital saw, and this would cut through the major part of the bone.
Okay. That's really interesting.
Then you would,
I was wondering when they would know to use specific things.
then they would use the round here to slip off the ends of the bone.
Okay.
Cut it off so it's nice and smooth, and you would file it down. Sometimes you'd even use a hammer, a bone chisel hammer, and you would get it nice and smooth,
Okay.
smooth as you can, because the rest of their life they're going to feel that against their skin.
Yeah.
Then with the flap, you could use it as a flap. The guillotine style is more straight across, just like a guillotine, and that you would try to close it, but it would be open, and it would eventually it would heal, but it wouldn't be as. But it depended on how much time you had, how much flesh you had, where the wound was, what type of amputation you could do. And then you would tie it up, and you'd take out the arteries and the veins, and you'd sew them up. You'd always leave like a part open for it to drain.
Right. How long would it take for the healing process?
It depends. You know, you could, sometimes they wouldn't heal. Sometimes they would get infected. Secondary, they saved around 75% of the, the primary, the first amputation. A lot of times, infection would set in, and you'd have to amputate again into the good. You needed to get rid of the infected bone.
Okay.
So you would have to cut through that, get rid of that. Secondary amputations, you would cut the 75% in half to about 40%. And then the higher up the amputation, less chance of survival.
Wow.
You come in and find a gunshot wound, the first thing you'd do is stick your finger into it. You couldn't feel it, you stick this in there. Sometimes they could, you have a ball pull. You could pull it out, stuck in your hip or something. You could pull it out or stuck in the stomach. It didn't hit any major arteries or anything. They could tie off an artery, they could cut open the area just so they could see what they're doing. They'd pull it out. They needed to get rid of bits and pieces. When you slow velocity bullets, like nowadays, the M16 bullet would go right through you.
Yeah.
This left, sometimes it'd go through a person into the next person. You'd get bits of uniform in you. These uniforms, these guys wore this every day on the whole campaign. They could be months without washing. They're dirty. They're full of, you get other people's blood in there. You try to take out as much of the stuff you could.
Right.
You're going to leave in some back here. That's why it's so rampant. And of course, there was chloroform and ether, and before you did any of it, what I just told you, everyone says, oh, they were biting bullets and holding them down. That's nonsense. They had mostly chloroform, but they did have ether. And you would just put this over their face, and you would drop the chloroform or ether right into their. They would put them out. Put them out for a good 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. A good surgeon could take off a limb in 10 minutes.
No kidding.
A lot of surgeons would. I've read article of somebody in this battle saying that he was counting backwards from 100. Like the surgeon told him. He said he heard his arm drop to the floor.
Wow.
A certain general like Jackson, Stonewall Jackson, died of pneumonia. And after surgery. A lot of people believe that he was out too long. They chloroformed him too much because he's a general and didn't want him to suffer. So he was out, too long. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's some theories. Plus, he was getting a cold before, and he had been out and he gave somebody his raincoat because he didn't want the other person to be all wet.
Wow. That was really fabulous explanation.
And type of wounds, you had, this is like I think this is a parrot shell. It would be a shell about this long. It was rifled. It would explode above the troops and hot. This thing would be burning hot, falling down. And this would, you get wounds from this. Canister, this is an awful thing. Canister was like in a tin can, looked like. And it was stuffed in sawdust with about 30 of these balls in there, and it shot like a shotgun. You'd use this against infantry at fairly close range, 200 yards.
Right.
They got real close. They were shooting at Pickett's Charge. Cushing's battery was shooting double canister. What that is, you'd ram the round down, take the powder off the back of another can, stick that in the muzzle, and then it was like a huge shotgun, just shot out like this.
Wow.
Just tore these guys. In the movie Gettysburg, you see them falling backwards. That's nonsense. Those guys would be. They said when these things went out, they armed knapsacks, hats, arms.
It was knocked everywhere.
Torn to pieces.
I think they did that at the wheat field too.
I don't know if there was any batteries close enough at the wheat field. I could be wrong. Winslow's battery is in the wheat field there. They saw all these rebels coming out of the woods there. They packed up and get the hell out of there. Smith's battery, though, in Devil's Den,
Right.
they got up right in front of the guns there. The canister was used there. The Confederates, Benning's Georgians took those guns.
Yeah, we were just at Devil's Den. I don't know where it went, but anyway. Wow. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to do the living history thing. I certainly learned a lot. What a gory mess. Do you mind if I think I'll put it on YouTube so you can see it, and I'll just entitle it Gettysburg 2015 Surgery. How about that? So you'll know what to look for.
Gettysburg what?
Gettysburg 2015 Surgery.
Oh, 2015.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks again.
Have a nice day.